Hello, my name is Johnny Phillips, member of the program team here at Junior Achievement. Been here for 2 years. Happy to do our first fireside chat here with David Hollenbeck. So we're going to offer some insight and share some information with you guys. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm Dave Hollenbeck. I'm with PSEG, the parent company of PSEG. I'm a senior regional public affairs manager. I've been with the company about 37 years.
It's a nice long career, right? David, if you will, you can share your job story with us. Just talk about what you do to earn a living. Maybe give us some specifics on why you choose to do it.
Okay, so let's start now what I do, and then we'll go backwards, and if that's okay, or if you want to ask those questions. But right now, I'm a senior regional public affairs manager for PSEG. What I do is I deal with elected and public officials in various communities and also key community leaders. And what I mean when I say key community leaders, it would be uh, chairman of a chamber, deal with nonprofit leadership, people that are in, I would say, the movers and shakers in the area or in the region. And my position is to be there. I love this term that a former manager of mine had. It was be the concierge service for them in public in PSENG. So when somebody calls, whether it's an elected official or one of those key community leaders, and they're confused or they have a question, I would find the answer. So it's pretty much I have to have a broad breadth of knowledge within uh, the corporation, not only its utility, but its power organization and other organizations that we have, so I can find them and make the connection between those people.
Thanks. You shared
So
would you care to offer some insight on why you choose to do that work?
position.
Yeah,
So
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 how you found
the
yourself in the role?
position. Yeah. So if it's all right with you, I'll give you a progression of how I progressed in the company, how I got in, and then how I got here.
Hmm.
All right.
Sounds good.
It was kind of a unique path. I came in. I first I went to college. And I got out of college and I did not work for the utility. Um, I found myself in an air conditioning refrigeration company doing credit. Didn't like it. I tried to get into this company for a couple of years, and I finally got in to read meters, which you wouldn't think, well, how did this guy get in to the position he's in? And why would I read meters with a college degree? Well, it was a starting point. It was a way to get your foot in the door. I did that, and when I came in, I applied for a lot of positions, a lot of different jobs, and I wasn't successful. Uh, what I after that, or during that same time, I took uh, other things as well. I bartended after work. I I got my real estate license, and all of those positions and things that I did helped me interact with people, develop some, um, I guess, discussion skills. I applied for a position as a assistant supervisor, and I live in northern New Jersey, and the position was actually what I would call from for somebody up north, we call it South Jersey or Southern Jersey, but it was in Princeton and it dealt in Trenton. So that's a good 55, 60 miles away. And I commuted that. I did that commute every single day for over 13 months just to go back and forth to get to the management position. After that, I applied to a management orientation position, which was a step back from the position I was in.
Hmm.
Again, to gain some advancement and some more knowledge that would help me down the road. I had various positions in customer operations, where I oversaw meter reading, collections, our call center. I was in some of that for a little bit. Um, I had the opportunity to work in pretty much almost every department in every aspect, or see them and interact with them. And then I went on to something that was totally different, and it was sort of a career path that you would try and do. I went into labor relations, and I found that as a pretty unique field, because when I went in, I was previously a union representative when I was in the union, and then I was on the management side, and I had a lot of good negotiation skills from my background, as whether it was selling real estate, talking to people as a meter reader. So I found it very interesting, and it so interesting that I went back to get my master's down at Rutgers University at an age of 40. Um, and I went back to get that, and so while I was in that position, I stayed there for about in that position for 9 years. I do have my master's in labor and employment relations. I find that very useful. I find the whole negotiations piece is useful because every day we talk and we negotiate with people on different issues and problem solving, the same thing. And then this position came available, which was a regional public affairs opportunity, and I put in for it, and I didn't say on the outside what I also had done. I wasn't. I was an elected official. I was in my town. I was a councilman. So I put in for this job, but I knew a lot of politics. My family was into politics, and I got into this, and this has been very enjoyable. I've been here since 2000 2009 now. So it's been a while, and it takes a long time to develop relationships with people. I started in Union, Somerset, and Hunterdon counties, and then it brought me up to do Bergen and Hudson counties, and now I oversee. Um, Actually, have four managers working for me, but they we cover Bergen, Passaic, and Essex counties, and doing the same type of thing with public officials, key community leaders, um, and working with them as a concierge and helping them, and it's a good partnership. So that's the that's the way I moved up. I mean, there's a lot of other pieces to that puzzle um, that you have to put in. So that's where
That's a great story. Yeah, it's really exemplifies the process and different trials and tribulations you might go through before you actually land in a position that you like, and kind of unaware that you might even enjoy, and finding your interests as you go along. So nice. Definitely appreciate that. You mentioned doing bartending on the side, picking up your real estate license, and then going back to school. But what did you learn from your first job? Was that experience positive or negative?
as a credit analyst.
First job, whether it's credit analyst or
So there was a couple of things, and while I was in college, I worked in an automotive warehouse for 4 years. I stayed in that position, and I used to bag brake shoes, do cores, which are old items. I would work with AC Delco representatives writing up defective items. Um, so there was a lot of different things that I did. And then moving on after college, I went into the air conditioning refrigeration company because they gave me a job. And I went as a credit analyst. And while I really enjoyed the people, I didn't enjoy the job. That wasn't my cup of tea. Um, I still have there's a relationship with a supervisor. I had my first supervisor. He actually works in the workforce development board, and he teaches youth in that organization up in Bergen County. And it's so funny that the circle of life, we came back and we got in touch with each other after so many years apart. I am actually the chairman of the Workforce Development Board up in Bergen County too. And I got in touch with my former supervisor, Harry Lisa, and he's a great man. So the first interaction, the first job wasn't me. I really wanted to do, I thought I could do more. I had a lot of aspirations. Um, and a funny thing, and I didn't mention it earlier, is my original intent out of high school was I really loved biology and science, and I wanted to be a forest ranger. And I said that was great. And I was told there's no money in it. And I went to business to take business, and that's what I got a degree in business administration and a minor in economics. Um, Looking back, I should have went into forestry and followed my dream. It would have probably been opportunities as a forester and doing some other things. But I'm not sad about that. That's life. You know, it takes you in different directions.
Yeah. Once again, exemplifying that process of learning different skills and picking up different pieces of information. At one point, finding out that it's you could use it in a later job, and finding out what you don't like before what you do like, which is a lot of people don't understand that. So, thank you. Last question: are there any resources or additional information you think is important for students to know, or if they are interested in learning about more the type of work you do? Your job sounds pretty nuanced, pretty multifaceted. Anything that you can share with students who might want to get into this line of work would definitely be helpful.
I think what you should do if you wanted to eventually get into the line of work where I am now is get involved. Um, the learning process, there's a lot of books out there, and people will recommend books, but you really have to get engaged and get involved in organizations. So if you were feeling that you wanted to be involved in politics, the political arena, I would go out and get involved in that type of organization. Learn, look to people that are a good example and follow what they do. And then, I always use the term, it's kind of maybe a good term, but I'm going to steal their best attributes. And if I can look at somebody and say, I like that and the way they do that or whatever, it's a compliment. I always think that if I can take that and I can use it, and always put that in your tool bag, right? So as you're moving along, I may pick so many so many things that have made me who I am today, or from little pieces of the people we interact every single day. You but you always have to take a look and aspire to follow um, that role model that's out there that you look up to and say, boy, I want to be like him or her. Uh, that's the individual that I would like to do, or just that piece of that person. They come into a room, they light up a room. How do they do that? And if you can do that, and just take that, or their work ethic. Every single day they come in, and they come in before work and stay after work and have a great work ethic. And that's something that's I always see that's how they got rewarded. Those are the type of things that I would say. The books will come. There are books out there, and a lot of people, quite frankly, don't like to read books. There are some that'll be in there and say, "Oh, how am I going to sit down and read a book?" There's a lot of knowledge in it, but there are other experiences and things. Don't sell yourself short if you say, "Well, I'll never get anywhere because I don't like to read or whatever." I was never a big reader, and I think when you have to go back to your master's, reading 500 pages of legal text for next week's class really didn't thrill me too much. All right, but it was something that I had to do. Um, I'm more a visual person like most people. So for me to go out and do those experiences and interact was, I think I gained more from them than anything else.
That's And once again, speaking on finding that mentor, find those examples of people that you want to emulate and characteristics that you like. Then also doing things that you might not want to do, but you have to do to get to a certain place. We spoke earlier a little bit about the map making that you implemented in Trenton, not necessarily a physical map, but a mental map of how you're going to get from point A to point B, where you say you want to go versus how you're actually going to get there. So that's really powerful, and we really appreciate your insight and your willingness to get on and record a quick video with us and share some perspective. So hopefully we can keep you on board and get you involved in junior achievement and through and right and get some of these students to hear your voice. Right? So
Well,
definitely
I
really do
just want to say
appreciate it.
thank you, because Junior Achievement is a great organization, and something that a lot of people should get involved in. As I was earlier in my career, at some point, it's another piece of Dave Hollenbeck that got me to where I am today. Each one of those pieces, and what you do is when you're in junior achievement, and I think the youth out there also should realize too, is that if you're involved with junior achievement, you should give back. I think you mentioned that too, as well. Giving back to your community, giving back to others, is very rewarding.
Continue on the path, right? But now we say bye and thank you for your time. And we'll definitely be working with you again in the future.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.